Here. Okay. If there are no concerns with the agenda, it stands approved. All right. And the minutes.
I would like to make an edit to the minutes. I know that we as a board had talked about comments, so I comments like recording everybody's comments. I was understanding with board members, but so I would at this point would like to keep the names and remove the comments of the public from the minutes.
Are you making a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to remove
Okay.
the public.
Let's have some discussion. Cheryl, do you have any discussion?
I agree. I mean, we say that we follow Robert's rules, and Robert rules states that we should, in our minutes, be writing down what was done, not what was said, and specifically for public comment. It says that we should just say, you know, if it's such that we require names, we can give the names and then just say made public comment.
Okay. Heather?
That's actually how, when I did training for the school board, that was what was expressed as well. You shouldn't really add comments, especially from the public, just so-and-so was here, so-and-so made a comment. And that's it.
Okay. Jay?
I agree with the board.
Verna?
Yes, well, along with that, I think in addition to leaving out names, we also talk a lot about the discussion and what's involved. Again, kind of reviewing Robert's rules, I think, and we specifically asked Kathleen to add more information because we didn't want to try to remember what we had done. But I think in order to be more consistent, we should leave out all of the detail, decisions that are made, not how we got there or whatever. I'd like to see that go back to.
Okay. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Is that with respect to the next month then, or, yeah, okay.
My only concern is, we addressed this a couple months ago, and we had a committee, Susan, Jay, and myself, to go forward with renewed Robert's rules. There was concern amongst some of the board members in probably fall of '22, that more needed to be stated. So, as a result, that's what we did last month, but also there's been other months where much more was stated. So, if we're going to go back to what was done, not what was said, I would agree with that, but I think we have to leave it as is now and go forward starting next month. That's my thoughts on this.
Personally, I think that that's okay with most of it. I just think that we need to take out the public comment for these particular minutes. Just because we haven't been putting in.
As secretary, I don't feel I could adequately summarize what somebody's feeling.
Right. I agree with that too. So what are we going to ask Kathleen to do going forward? Is she going to put in a summary, or is she not going to put in a summary? Because we have confused her.
Well, I think that's a separate issue. I think that the issue right now is just for these minutes. The motion was to strike the comments and change that to just who was here and that they made a comment. And then I think the discussion of how to move forward needs to happen at another time, because that's not on our agenda for tonight.
Okay. Okay, we can do that. All those in favor?
I have one more amendment to the minutes. if that's
Sure.
okay. In 10.4, in the summary, in the first sentence there, after the colon, it says having a capital maintenance expenditure plan. It should be capital replacement expenditure plan.
Oh.
So I would change that one word, please. Section 10.4,
10.4.
first sentence of the summary. Change the word maintenance to replacement.
Capital replacement.
Yeah. The difference being maintenance is just ongoing things that happen and have to be fixed. Replacement is kind of replacing an asset, refrigerator or whatever it happens to be.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Can we have
Sure.
a fresh,
Motion.
yes.
Would you like to amend your motion?
Might need help on that
I
one.
can do it for you.
Sure.
Okay, I'd like to move that we strike the comments in section 6 under call to audience and just indicate who it was that spoke. And then in section 10.4, we strike the word maintenance, replace it with the word replacement.
I will second. I will, hold on, I will add also in section 16, we have public comment there as well, same thing.
Oh, right. 2 spots.
I'd like to restate the motion. Striking comments for both section 16 and section 6, just indicating who spoke, and then make the change in 10.4.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. All right, call to audience, I believe. Would you like to introduce our new employee?
Sure. Lori Traeger is our new full-time librarian, and she comes to us from Inland City Library, her 2 years at Inland City Library, and she also worked for Lapeer Library for a while, so we're very happy to have her. She's jumped in with both feet and already has asked to start programming and get programs.
Excellent.
Welcome. Any other call to audience?
I would like to say something as an audience member. As for the minutes, the board, it's an interesting decision. I've been putting public comments, the description since April, and this is the first time it's brought up. And I feel I should step back. I should not write board minutes anymore. It's the secretary's responsibility. I'm not your board secretary, I'm an audience member, so from now on, Susan, you can write how the board would like the minutes.
Okay. You good with that, Susan?
That's fine. Do we need to do anything with that? Because did we do anything with that when she started
I
doing
think
it?
so.
We did not.
We need to add that to the agenda, because it's not,
Okay,
make the change next month.
okay.
But it's nowhere, does it say that I write the minutes, it's the responsibility of the secretary.
It is the responsibility of the secretary to make sure the minutes are done, not necessarily that they have to write them themselves.
I wrote a general orders for the audit committee. The
Yeah.
audit committee reviewed and approved it. So, it's not unusual to have a member of staff actually prepare the minutes for the board.
I just didn't know if we voted it in, because if we voted it in, then we need to vote it out.
I don't think we ever voted it in.
Nope. No.
You were basically appointed by the other director, correct?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know,
so
so
you
paper
were
to the
just-
board, it wasn't a paper, but, you know.
Well, I think
And originally he was the secretary, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Pardon me? Go
I
ahead.
think originally, you had been doing it, and every time we make a change, we ask you to go with the flow, and you've been very gracious to do that. And, but it is our responsibility, and thank you for having done it for all these years. And you've been doing a great job. You always do what we ask you to do, even though it feels like there's many changes.
Okay, so I don't believe this is an action item. I think we can just go forward. Okay, any other call to audience? Now's your chance. Okay, director's report.
We have a written report. Well, I had it circled to introduce you to Lori, but we've already done that. Any questions for me? About anything on the report?
Once again, congratulations on the library network appointment.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm excited to be on that.
Or leadership positions there.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
We actually have our first meeting on Thursday, so I don't know all the details yet. I have gotten a rough draft of the survey that will be going out to our members. There's 55 pages, so it's a lot of questions, so I'm hoping that you get responses. There's a lot to fill out, so, but that was kind of just a rough draft that was given to us by the University of Michigan to kind of a jumping point, but, so we'll have our first meeting on Thursday and find out more. I think it'll be great to get the results. A lot of the questions are about, they're really good questions about, like, do you feel empowered in your position? Do you feel, you know, kind of, those kind of questions. So I'm hoping that, the staff here will be able to take the survey. If we can paragraph. Yeah. I think we'll get some really good information.
Okay, thank you. Next week, or next month, why don't you bring us back more information, okay? Thank you. Okay, trustee reports.
I wasn't done.
You were done with what?
I had some questions and.
Oh, go ahead.
Welcome to our new librarian. Were there any specific duties, talents, that type of thing that you see Lori handling for our library?
Lori comes to us with a background in youth services.
Okay.
So we have been talking about some collection development things, some programming, a lot of other things. Which is, mostly collection development, programming, outreach. She has a lot of experience in a lot of different areas, so I think right now we're going to try to determine what she's most interested in, and where her passions are, and
another question, do we have kind of a idea when Cambridge is proposing our draft will be ready?
we gave them a date of April 1st to have a draft. So that was in our RFP that we sent them, and then they altered their engagement letter to say April 1st, so they have something ready.
Okay, so we're still looking at April 1st. I didn't know if they maybe said something different since they've collected a lot of information already.
Both Ian and I are hopeful Dave can have everything to him by March 4th. And then he'll start working on it and everything. So April 1st, like I said, is a deadline. It will most likely be earlier, but no promises.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing. Okay.
Okay.
And another question. You mentioned that you and Shauna met to discuss our plan moving forward with the strategic plan. Can you give us some more details on how that's going to happen?
Sure. I really wanted to make sure that all the staff were involved in implementing the strategic plan, because I think everybody here has some really great ideas. And I didn't want to pigeonhole them into any specific goal either. So what we're looking at preliminary right now, we're looking at asking staff to sign up for, there's the 4 goals, sign up for each goal, and then every quarter we're going to switch groups so that we can get input from all of them on each item. So right now we're thinking we'll have them kind of brainstorm and do a little bit of research and have the group come up with certain objectives that they'd like to see us do. And then that will go to management staff, and we'll look at the budget, look at what staff is available, has the time, has the skills to accomplish those objectives, and then we'll put them into place. So I think we have a really good plan. Sean is finishing up all the beautiful charts and sign-up sheets and all of that kind of stuff, and then once that's ready, we'll roll it out.
So, what do you think? I know our first report will be first quarter. What do you think we'll hear by first quarter? Where do you think we'll be by then?
We should have our groups established at that point, and they should have probably had their first brainstorming meetings, so hopefully we'll have some rough objectives by that
Okay.
time.
All right, right.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. Susan?
Well covered.
Heather? Okay, you took my questions, Cheryl.
Okay.
Jay?
No.
And Berna? You're all set? Okay. Thank you, Laura. Let's go on to trustee reports. I have FOL. Does anybody else have a different report? Okay, I'll give my friends of the library. Alan Allgeier announced he may need a replacement as he is running in November for the Board of Trustees. The treasurer reported $16,871.88. Book sales per month are anticipated to be $500. Tom Roberts still is in communication with the welding teacher at the high school for the children's garden instruments. And May 4th, there will be a FOL book sale from 9 to 1. Has that time changed? Is it still 9 to 1?
Say that again?
There's going to be an FOL book sale on May 4th.
During the garage sale.
Oh, yes.
Those are the right hours, right? Okay, that's it. Any other trustee reports? Any questions for me? Okay. I believe we are ready for our finance officer's report. Jay?
Okay, we have our check register on pages 9 and 10. The things that kind of stand out this month would be the renewal of our technology maintenance agreement there on January 3rd for $17,850. And then there's actually two snow removal payments totaling $9,946. Does anyone have any questions about the items on the check register this month?
Why do we have a negative number like
Where?
that? Our total.
The minus 12,072.
I specifically looked at that and I'm trying to remember.
I'm sure
It
you
made
did.
sense at the time. Why did it make sense at the time? Part of it was payroll.
Do we show payroll on some part of payroll that we didn't transfer funds yet? I looked at that, but I couldn't come up with any numbers that matched.
I will send it out to the board because, like I said, it did make sense. I did figure it out and I didn't write it down.
All right, thank you.
It is.
Can I
If you ever want to come back to it at the end.
Can I ask a question? I noticed that the checking and savings account, extra dollars, on the balance sheet.
Page 11?
Right, on page 11.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just the timing, moving money in and out of the various accounts? Is that kind of what happened maybe?
I mean, check register to these things, to checking and savings account, or,
Right.
it was, I'll send out a notice.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we've got the balance sheet then on page 11. You'll notice down at the bottom under equity committed fund balance is $800,000, but it's actually $400,000. That's going to be adjusted during our year-end audit review, so that will be adjusted next month. Income statements on page 12, 13, and 14.
answer another question. Do you know what the tax income was during January and February up to the due date, February 15th? Approximately. Because here we still showed 500 and something.
All I can think of is the one offhand, and I know that was 150,000, but I know there was another one. And did they change their due date to the 15th? I thought they had the March.
Or 16th, whatever day February was. It was the 15th, I
It
thought.
was, okay. My note is from years ago when they said through March 1st
Yeah, no.
and everything, so,
That's
I wasn't
February.
worried yet.
If you can just let us know, that would be great.
Anything else?
Okay.
Are we on the income statement now?
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions about
I have
that?
a question.
None?
And line item 806 ILS,
Page number 13? Yep.
We show a payment of just over 3,000 and our budget was 4,200. How much does that 3,000 pay for? How much of the year?
That was,
Because I know it goes over the year.
yeah, we pay it in September. So it would have covered most of the year. Didn't I send the finance committee?
That's the accrual that we did then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it, yeah, okay.
This is the reversal of the moving the expense from last year to this year.
And then, under public utilities for at the bottom of page 13, waste and recycling. It shows 430 for January. Was that for more than 1 month?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so much easier with my computer. Yeah, it was 2 months, because we get the bill at the end of the month, so for January, we get it at the end of December, so I just held on to it till the first time in,
Yeah, okay.
in January, and then paid February's in January.
Okay, that makes sense. And you already answered the question on snow plowing, so I think I'm good. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Susan? I'm good. Jenna?
I'm good.
Okay.
You too?
I'm good.
Okay. I move that we approve the expenses for the month of January in the amount of $109,264.24.
I'll second it. Okay. Since this is a money issue, we will,
Do a roll call.
yeah, we'll roll from Michelle,
Yes.
Susan, yes, Heather, yes, Jay,
Yes.
Verna,
Yes.
and I include Jim. Okay, motion passes. Committee reports. Next week, Wednesday, we have our ad hoc trustee recruitment open house. I did send you all an agenda for it. We will end the evening with refreshments, and Laura is going to provide the coffee and water. I was wondering, I'm going to make cookies. Is there anybody else that would be willing to bring or make cookies?
I can bring Girl Scout cookies.
Oh.
Listen to this, my wife bought 60 boxes.
Whoa.
Well, our niece is selling them. Plus, we're having a birthday
Bring
party
them.
for our grandson on Saturday, and everybody at the party's gonna have a box.
Anybody else?
So how many should I bring? How many boxes of cookies? 5, 6?
Oh, that's
2,
enough.
3? 3? Okay.
Okay, I'll make 2 or 3 dozen, and that should be it. Okay, thanks, Jay. Okay.
I have a question on
Yes.
that. Since I have, under duress,
Oh, you didn't.
volunteered to do a presentation, You said something today that we should have PowerPoint. I am not doing PowerPoint.
No, I thought the same thing. I thought, no, we don't have time for it.
We have amazing staff.
When you, share some trustee duties, I'm thinking 2 or 3 minutes, just an overview.
Okay,
Yes,
that's
no
fine.
PowerPoint. Okay.
It's
Any
been a
other
long
questions?
time since I've done PowerPoint.
All right. Ad hoc board training. Shauna's not here, but I wanted to thank her once again for, our, meeting tonight with Stephen Bauer. Next month, March 26th is our next board meeting, and could we meet earlier with Galt on finance?
What day?
March 26th.
Next board meeting?
That's the next board meeting. Would you like an hour, a half hour? What would work, Cheryl? This is not under duress either. You volunteered.
I'll need an hour.
An hour? Okay, 4 o'clock we will meet on March 26th. You had also, when we discussed this, you thought maybe 2 sessions, or do you want to wait and see how it goes?
We'll see how the first one goes.
Okay, sounds good.
And I have a comment of the training that we had today.
Mhm.
I didn't think it really covered all the points that we had discussed. I mean, what we had discussed in our board evaluation, I think, was more about our relationship with the director and our team building and stuff like that, and I don't think that so much of the training we had today was just basic trustee stuff. So I'd like to be able to see us do more on that area.
When it ended, I said that to her, I said, this covered what we wanted. So, we thought that we should have more.
So I think we'll need to discuss that if you wanna put it on the agenda or something, so we can do some more in that area.
On the agenda, or do we want to give it to the committee, the evaluation committee?
Well, we don't have an evaluation committee.
We don't. Okay.
No, we just have a
Okay.
vice president, yeah, no trustee.
Okay.
We have a board training,
So,
we do have a board training committee. We could talk about.
okay.
Yeah, the board training committee still exists, so
That's right.
if you wanna
That is,
give it to
okay.
that committee and see what they come up with.
Jay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Bring it back to our next meeting.
That would be great. Okay, you're writing those notes, thank you. Okay, any other concerns or questions, Susan, about today, or no, anything else? Heather? Okay. Jay? Irma? Okay, thank you. All right, we're on to policies, and that's Laura.
Okay, so it's funny that Stephen actually mentioned the privacy laws
Yes.
today, because the policy we're proposing, this is a new policy. The attorney wrote the majority of it, and we changed it for formatting and made it more ours. But it's the confidentiality policy, disclosure of library records. We don't have anything in writing right now as far as what staff can divulge and not divulge. They know the law, but I think it's important that we do have a policy in writing. So, here it is. It's very, I think it includes everything that we would need covered as far as when the police need to be involved, that's covered in here, and what we can say and not say. It talks about crimes that happen that we may need to talk about. It talks about FOIA that you brought up today, as well as subpoenas, court orders. All of that are kind of situations we might end up in that we need to divulge patron records. So I think it's very well written. Anybody have questions or comments?
Is this our first look through
Yes.
on this? Okay, Irma?
Yeah, on disclosure, let's see, page 16, number 3 at the bottom, opportunity to be heard depending upon the type of subpoena, court order,
the legal process, the library may appear and be represented by counsel at a hearing. But I'm assuming that that would be a library employee or the director that would actually represent. So I wonder if we need to indicate that the person will be
Library staff.
Insert the word
Well,
director or something?
pardon, no, that the person would be paid for their time.
Oh.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I know it was not even clear to myself. That the attorney would be provided by the library.
Oh,
That's what I meant.
okay, I see. Okay, yeah,
Represented by libraries council, is that a yes?
Yeah.
okay.
Represented by libraries.
Yeah.
Anything else, Brendan?
No, that's it.
Oh, okay. Jay?
On page 17 in section C, I was trying to, I've read it several times trying to understand what it says, but basically, a person who is liable for the payment or return of the materials identified in the library record or portion of library record may provide written consent for the release of that library record. Okay, so if I'm, as an individual, if I wanted to release my history of book loans or CDs or whatever.
This is for minors.
Specifically for minors.
This is for minors. And on our library card application, parents do sign. If they're legally responsible, which they are, they're entitled to those records.
Yeah. So in C should, on that first line, in compliance with the Michigan Library Privacy Act, should say a minor person? Because you said that was specific to minors?
Well, the person who is liable for the payment would be the parent.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Jay?
I'm set, thank you.
You're all set. Heather? You good? Susan? Jim?
Of course. Bottom of page 16, the very last sentence there, and it goes on to the next page. The library board acknowledges that the library director is required by a non-disclosure order or law may not be permitted to inform the board or its individual members that a local, state, or federal agency has sought or obtained requested records. I don't know how we can be legally liable and yet not have information. I would want to hear an explanation of that by the attorney.
Okay.
Because as a board, we're legally liable. And if we're not given the information, how can we accept that liability?
Is this the kind of situation where we should hear of what happened, but not necessarily who was involved, kind of a thing? So how do we need to rewrite that to state something along those lines, or?
Well, it might be, it says if required by a non-disclosure order or law, so I assume a non-disclosure order would have to come from a court. But I don't know how that impacts our legal liability then. And that's what I would like to find out.
I think that's a really good question, and I think that one has to go back to our attorney before we prove this.
Yeah.
This is just a first read.
Yeah, it's like.
This is going to go to the policy committee, correct?
No, this already.
Oh, it did, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. My thought when I read that is it might be
Confidentiality.
a board member that is, a person that's under review. So that's how I read it, but I will get clarification.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the big thing is how does that impact our liability? In case for some reason the library is sued.
Anything else? Okay. Okay, this is not an action item.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So I guess we're all set. Now on to finance. Jay?
The Finance Committee met a week ago on February 20th. We talked about the progress of the year-end financial statement audit. As Laura mentioned in her report today, Kathleen's been gathering and sending the documents requested by the external auditor, and that is going well. We talked about recording restricted and unrestricted donations and grant funds that we received, particularly when the funds may not be spent in the same accounting period. So for example, we got some kind of a fund set up last year and it's going to be spent this year. We also discussed staff ideas for simplifying and handling the bulk mail processing. Now that we've got the newsletter, the mailing costs gone up, and there might be some better ways to handle things in an easier way. And then lastly, we also talked about the replacing one of our 2 servers. Laura covered that in her report on what happened earlier this month. We understand the cost was $8,259, and it's going to be a capital item. So it's not part of the expense budget. So we're working on getting the invoices for our files. I guess we're pretty close. We've got one more to come in. But given the circumstances, I thought it was appropriate for the board to approve the purchase, even though it's already been done. And so I would ask the board to approve expenditure of $8,259 to replace one of our 2 servers.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Questions?
I'm not comfortable approving that without seeing an actual invoice. I think it could wait. It's already done.
It's already done. Okay.
Jay, I was under the understanding, I thought that this was coming out of our budget.
There is a line item for equipment.
Right.
We were talking a little bit earlier in our training about the difference between the expense budget.
Right,
And
versus a
capital budget.
capital budget.
Yeah.
So,
This is over $5,000. That was not competitively bid.
okay.
I thought it would be appropriate for the board to be aware, number one, number two, approve it, even if it was in the past. Then going forward, we're working to modify our policies, so it's clear about what should be done in the circumstances.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense to me, that this is coming out of our regular budget,
Mhm.
right? Not a separate capital
Correct.
budget, correct?
It was never appropriated separately.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that, so.
Okay.
That's it? Heather? Jay? You want to do that?
Well-
Donna? Do you have a question?
I'm concerned that we have an expense, that's coming out of the capital budget without prior approval.
In this case,
I-
our third party who handles our IT went ahead and did something without specifically being requested to do it. I probably assumed, it needs to be done. The server was on its last legs, clearly, and staff were having trouble saving files and doing other kinds of things like that. And Laura was about to leave on vacation, I think, so it was kind of a circumstance of, he took it on himself, I think, to move forward. Want to add
Not
anything?
necessarily, not necessarily.
Okay.
We did discuss it.
All right.
And like I said in my notice, we did discuss it. I was waiting to get a number back from him to talk to him about it. And when he did give me a number, he also told me he ordered this. So, it was a lack of communication on my part. I should have been more clear that I needed that number before he ordered it. And it took him, it takes about a week to put the key bills to the server. So he had to order all the parts to go to the server, and then I was going on vacation. So it was already a 2-week delay, and it was even another 2 weeks. So yeah, that was one of the things I kind of considered.
So normally if we have an emergency, because I see our server is an emergency, because we are a data-driven, information-driven business, company, or not company, library. Would have been better to do an emergency meeting of the board to approve this, because I can't see the situation of waiting until the next board meeting, because it's over $5,000. I mean, if this happens again, not necessarily this thing, but anything,
Yeah.
that makes an emergency to keep the library functioning.
Well, an emergency policy says that the directors to contact the president, and that wasn't done.
And the finance committee is working with Lauren and her team on a capital budget. We'll see the first version of that in March at our main meeting. So we hope to avoid these kind of things. If you've got a server that's 9 years old and the expected life is usually 5 years, it probably should be in your budget to be replaced on an ongoing basis, not wait till it fails. So we'll be working on that as well.
I just don't, I guess I just learn from our, and figure out where we could have done, what we could have done, emergency meeting or something like that.
So I think,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
so it's done, we still have to pay for it, so we obviously have to approve that.
So the question is, should we wait for the invoices? And that makes a lot of sense too.
We have an option to table this and wait for the invoices for next month, or we could go ahead with our action item and exit. My thought is to table it.
I'm good with that.
So there's the second? Okay, we'll vote on the table then.
Well, do we need to vote on the first?
No, not if there's a motion to table
Okay.
that takes precedence. There's a
Is there a
second.
second to table it?
The first failed.
Okay. Okay. All those approve tabling this motion?
Aye.
Okay,
Okay.
it passes. Okay. Communication. Know that we received anything this month. Unfinished business. I don't think so. New business. According to our yearly calendar, even though we just received our new bylaws, it is time for board bylaw review. So, I'm going to reappoint an ad hoc committee of Jay and Susan to review if any trustees see a need to change our bylaws or add an addendum to them. You are meeting next week, correct? Next week, Wednesday. So get them to me, or me and or Jay and Susan. Okay? Any comments, questions about that? Okay. We are on job descriptions. Laura?
So I have the public services manager, which is a good position here, with lots of changes. Added a lot of things, changed the requirements for the position for education experience. Just wondering if you have any edits or questions?
I have a couple. So, first of all, the numbering, since we took out 3, everything 4 and below should be a number up. I mean, that's a minor thing. So in number 5, may act as librarian in charge in the absence of the director. A lot of our other policies say something about the director's designee, and so I'm just wondering if we should use a similar language rather than librarian in charge. That's the first that I've seen, that particular wording, so.
So maybe may act as librarian in charge if designated by the director?
No, it's the librarian in charge, that phrase.
Okay.
So
So you may act as
the-
designee for the library director in
Yeah,
absence.
yeah, something along those lines. I just feel like, that makes it a little more consistent with some of our other policies. And then, under the essential knowledge, skills, and abilities, number 4, this is just a verb tense. Models excellent patron interaction, and then collaborates with others inside and outside of the library, just to, keep that consistent.
Collaborate, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be collaborate or collaboration?
Well, if we're keeping with the, starting with the verb, right, we have models excellent patron, and then collaborates with the others.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's
Anything
all.
else?
That's all.
Anybody else?
Line item number 1, under essential job duties, hires has been crossed out. Do they not hire staff for their department?
It's a kind of a group effort. It's not her responsibility to hire.
Because I looked at the one that we did last month, which I think was Sarah, and it says hires under
Oh,
hers.
does it? Okay. They are part of the hiring process. We could leave it in there, but they don't actually make that final determination.
Who does?
I see.
So you hire everyone in the library?
Officially, yes.
Are you mainly signing off on their decision, or you're making the decision?
It's very much a group effort, but I'm the one that actually contacts and makes the final offer, determines the salary, does all of the official hiring.
Well, we have to be consistent, so we either leave it in here, or we have to change the other ones.
We can leave it in there.
Okay.
I would be comfortable with that. Because they are definitely part of the process.
And then under education and experience, you say at least 1 year of public library collection development. And yet when I look under essential job duties, I don't see anything there talking about collection development.
You know, I looked at that actually right before we came in. She doesn't do collection development, but she does oversee the staff that do the collection development, so I think it's important that she does. She's
So it's her
familiar with it.
it's her ultimate responsibility.
But she doesn't necessarily do the collection development. But she oversees the staff that do. So I think it's important that they do have a little bit of a background in collection development.
So we need to put something in here that says that? What do you recommend? I don't see anything in here about collection. I don't see anything in here about,
But let's say like overseas collection development activities or something? That's your suggestion, John?
something, yeah. Something having to do with collection policy, guidelines, procedures, you know, something showing that she manages that. Maybe just say manage collection development. I don't know, that would include everything.
Yeah. We could add it to 13, manages departmental budgets and collection development.
I think that should, if it's that important, which I think it is, that we make it a separate line item.
Okay, let's put it as 14 then, and manages collection.
So after manages departmental budgets.
And manages collection development. Let's see, library.
So
Yeah.
this person is ultimately responsible for the collection development.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she's pointing out the librarian position says responsible for selecting and maintaining the library collection. You could say responsible for overseeing.
I think manages, because that talks to her being the manager.
Manages the library collection.
Because that doesn't mean she's actually hands-on, that
Yeah.
she's just managing
Yeah.
what's going on with the collection. So she's managing staff to do that.
Mhm. Do you want me to work on that and bring it back? Or do you want
If you aren't happy with the wording, if you want to wait, that's fine.
what was the suggested wording?
Manages collection development, what we would have.
That's all I would put it on. I mean, I think that covers it.
And it's
Okay.
consistent.
Okay. Yeah, that would be good. I will add that in support.
Anything else, Sharon?
No.
Susan? Heather? Joe?
Got it.
I do have one thing. Where we put back in number one, the word hires, when you do an interview, you do it with a couple of you. It's
Yes.
not just you alone, right?
Right.
And that's
Right.
why you would put in hires.
Right.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have. Okay. So this is an action item.
Motion to approve as amended.
Okay, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. It is time for our director evaluation, and she has requested closed session. So I need a motion to close this meeting so we can go into closed session.
Move into closed session.
We have to close our meeting first and then open.
We close this meeting
Move to close.
at 5:52. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then we go to the other room to open, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to?
I have a motion to open this meeting. Move
So
to
moved.
reopen at 7:07.
And the other piece.
Do we have a second? Did somebody second already?
Yeah, we did.
We
Okay.
did.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 13.4, request extended library hours. Go ahead, Laura.
Do we need to make a motion to accept the director evaluation?
Oh, yes.
Move to approve the outcome of the closed session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes You
Well,
taught me something.
well, I'm kind of wondering about this one because do you guys want me to bring this to you as far as library hours? From what Stephen Bauer said earlier, that kind of is up to me, but it doesn't matter to me either way.
Do we have a policy that would
Extended
cover
hours?
something like that?
About changes in hours.
Maybe what we need to think about is making policy.
You made a good point about pre-planning. We know we're gonna have emergencies, we know we're gonna have snowfall.
Mhm.
You know, you should be able to just go ahead and,
Yeah, I really think it just falls under the director's purview to set hours.
sounds like.
Okay, so for anything, send
It's
out.
nice to know, to let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know. You also were going to share that it was not going to be an extra cost.
Right.
That's important.
Right. If it was a, yeah.
If it was an extra cost.
Substantial cost, it would go to the finance committee, but if it's just a couple hours here and there, I think it's not necessarily.
Just let us know.
Okay.
So we have this as an action item. Do you
Yeah.
want to go ahead?
I would,
Yeah.
since it's already.
Okay.
Move to approve the request for extended library hours on the dates listed.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passed.
I have a
Okay.
comment. I think it's great that we're doing these after-hour things for the team.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah, my kids love to
You know, that they kind of, it's their own space then, and they get to do whatever. And the staff seems to enjoy it too. so.
Well, and it helps those kids to build relationships with one another.
It does.
You know, and a lot of those kids are homeschooled, you know, and so it becomes a lifeline, you know, for social them.
No, I think it's great.
That was a gap in the past in terms of, having team interaction. So this is another way to bring them in, involve them.
And it's at a time when they can actually come, you know, a lot of the kids are in sports and, you know, whatnot, especially in that teen group, so.
And the events are usually coincide.
That's fantastic. Taylor, I mean, we're already I'm getting into this and I shouldn't, but Taylor has done amazingly with that group. And she said that they are coming up with the idea of handing out flyers. That just, to me, we failed, but she really went ahead with it. I'm just so pleased that Tab has done what they've done. Okay, let's get back then to staff reports. I will shut up.
Did we vote?
Yes.
First. Blinking units.
Yeah, I know.
Any thoughts? Anybody want to start?
I'll start.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, on the listers report, computer scans, another related safety issue, I can't wait. Yeah, really good programming, thank you. Let's see, Danielle, off the wait list, and everyone in the registration list is able to attend. I really want to comment, to commend you and the staff. The worst thing I can imagine is a child who sees a program and their friends go and they didn't make the list. I would ace for that, so that's really great. Let's see, specifically, holding a trivia night surrounding adventure movies, as well as tech-themed program about finding credible sources online. That's really a good idea. Ms. Brand's meeting at the Croston Park and Branton Community Parks, I think it's a really, really good idea to use. So, local facilities. And looking forward to the summer reading program, the adventure path throughout the library. Great idea. And one last thing, Taylor says she's working on something that is outside her comfort zone, and I wanted to say I love hearing about people expanding their skills.
Great, thank you. Jay?
Yeah, I thought, again, the reports are amazing. I appreciate what they're doing. And like I said in our closed session, when they indicate how many people attended, that really hammers it home for me that they're making a big influence on the community. For example, on page 20 under Alyssa's, near the bottom of the page, they talked about Carol Hegbell, who's our Oakland County historian. And I think that one of the things that maybe isn't talked about enough in schools these days is kind of our history, about amazing history of this country. To have 50 people show up to hear the county historian really drove it home for me. I thought it was a great influence. On page 23, Fran, reaching out to non-library users there to gain more library card holders. So I see the numbers continuing to go up each month, and I'm just really impressed that we're getting more people to have library cards and be able to use our services. On page 24, this is again under Fran, but she talked about 6 weekly early literacy programs. Again, amazing. 645 people total attendance, 25 regular library programs. Yeah, and reaching out to that many people. And then lastly, on page 25 under Taylor, in the middle there, she talked about promoting our library things with the Instagram reels. And again, it's a really clever way to get attention and to get people to see what's being done here. So I haven't. I'm blocked actually on Instagram.
Who blocked you?
Instagram. Yeah.
What'd you do?
That's a bad
We don't want to know, we don't want
I
to
must have
know.
reposted something, or I don't know.
He's one of those conservative people that do the misinformation. But
Probably, but anyway, great job.
I'm so impressed with all the creativity, you know, of what the staff have been doing and the different things that they're coming up with. I love to read all the different things every month. I'm so excited for the summer reading program. I mean, we love the summer reading program anyways, but some of the different things with the left animals and the just, you know, everything. My kids are, you know, we can't wait. Fantastic, I love it. I also love that we are reaching outside of the community now. Under Miss Graham, on page 23, she's talking about sending Bibles to the Philippines. You know, I mean, I just think that's so wonderful. What an amazing way for us to reach other communities that maybe don't have the kinds of things that we have here, even in Mortonville. So I applaud the staff as we do it. You know, I feel like we go through this every month, but every month it gets better and better and better. I love to read all of it. So.
Just that note on the Bibles, that doesn't cost us anything, those are things pulled out of, those normally would be thrown away from the book sales.
Okay.
So, we got those.
Yeah.
That's
There's
great.
no cost to the library.
That's great.
And to work with FOL to do this,
Mhm.
staff and FOL, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Fantastic.
Oh, Susan?
Well, I just want to say I'm kind of jealous when I look through all these programs because there's so many like the Cozy Corner and the Crafts and Coffee, and I look at the times and I'm like, working. So either
It's
that
for
or
us old folks.
Yeah. You would be surprised. You know, so it's a lot of great programs. I wish I could take advantage of a lot of them, but maybe one day. You're just talking about animals, and I'm thinking, do they want a couple of goats that the kids could pet?
I mean, around here, goats go trick or treating with us. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we took a goat trick or treating with the kids. So I'm not averse to coming over if you ever have a goat themed thing. I can provide an animal.
There's libraries that do goat yoga. Have you ever heard that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you let them walk in them.
Yeah.
Well,
that sounds so fun.
It's fun until they're about 150 pounds.
Well,
I looked
Blueberry-
I looked underneath my coop one time to see if there was any birds under there, and my goat jumped up on my back.
Oh,
150, almost 275-pound animal on your back. I was like, "Oh, that's not goat yoga, that's torture." So, yeah, but I'm really impressed, and I just wish I could make a lot of things that you guys do, but it's good.
sure.
Well, I'm impressed too, and I think the biggest change that I've seen in programming is the ongoing programs. And I think in a community like ours, which many of us live on larger parcels of land and you really don't get a close relationship with your neighbors or anything. You know, I come to the Recipe Society and the book club and stuff, and I see people, you know, that come regularly developing those relationships that you wouldn't just have in the community, and I think that's an important resource that we're giving to our community, to have that. And it serves, obviously, for the daytime stuff, it serves us older people, but you can come at night.
Oh, yeah.
So, but, yeah, thank you to everybody.
Everything, absolutely. Like I said, I'm so impressed with TAB. That's fantastic. I did have a question, and maybe you have an answer to this, Laura. We didn't get the grants that Shauna had tried with the Michigan Community Center. Will that be available again?
Probably.
You could try
I hope
again?
so, yeah. If not, there will be others.
Oh, good. Okay.
Keep going.
Good. Okay. That's it. Everybody has said wonderful things, and I agree with them all. So let's go on to the statistics. I guess I'll say, maybe I'm missing something. Why is February vacant? So February. Okay. Well, we have some zeros in there, so that's why I was confused.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a,
Those are
it's a
calculations.
calculation.
Okay.
That's number. So there are 7 areas where I thought there was terrific growth this month. When I look at last year and look at an average month, and then look at the growth in January, the areas were the number of current patrons, the door count, the in-reach attendance, the outreach attendance, Hoopla users, Mango users, and Living checkouts all had growth in January more than the average of a month, in prior years. So it's a good trend to see. Maybe it's part of the time of year or something where those things go up, but I think that it's a recognition that more people are using those services.
Which website are we going to eliminate? Is it Mango?
Mango.
That's what I thought. Okay. Any other comments?
I just had a quick question. Under collection totals where it says physical collection, I understand the 2022 total, but what is the number under January? What does that mean? I don't know. I assume the total number that we have over here is our total amount in collection, but I don't know what the January number means.
I'll have to ask
Okay.
about that.
This is the 5234?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the, no, it doesn't add up. Okay, I will find out.
Okay.
And also that number for 2022, on physical collection total, I mean, it just, that's not right.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we have room for that now.
Yeah.
We didn't get rid of 550,000
Yeah.
this year.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I'm not.
They were
sure.
purging.
I'll have to look into that.
Okay, that'd be great.
Any other comments? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Calendar review for March, we will have a strategic plan update.
Bylaws?
And the bylaw, well, that'll be for next agenda.
Okay.
Is there any other quarterly updates after our talk that we want her to put in there?
I don't think there's anything that's specifically on the calendar.
You're right.
But
Okay.
we'll have to decide.
Okay. True. Okay, no public comment?
I've got some.
Oh,
While you guys were
yes.
in your meeting, I looked up the questions about financials.
She solved it.
So, and it was so simple. So for the check register, that $12,783,
Mhm.
the last check register is January 31st. They hadn't moved the money as of January 31st.
Ah.
So next month, there will be a discrepancy again of that amount.
You'll probably have to remind us again.
It'll be positive this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it was simple, but that was why they had to move that money.
Okay.
And from the end of January through February 10th, the property taxes collected was $307,674.63.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, on hold. Well, items for next agenda, I have strategic plan update, which is actually calendar review. Yeah, but why do I have more board training with the director?
Because
Oh, yes,
the board training committee
Yes.
was gonna meet to discuss.
okay. Okay,
Oh, we need to talk about the minutes, probably before we look at the minutes. Put that as an agenda item.
okay.
Changing the format of the meeting.
We'll see if I can find some Robert Rules examples.
Okay.
I'll give you the page number.
I gave the book.
And then we talked about having our first capital plan by the end of March. So.
So you want it then?
Well,
Want
would
it in the-
we be ready to review it with the board at that point?
That'll be up to the finance committee. That's the way they're making it first.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the calendar and where to fit all of the different quarterly updates?
We do the calendar.
Well, I don't know about we do, but.
Like put some stuff in April instead of March.
Based
or-
on, the outcomes that we've had, that might be just a discussion.
So, okay, so I'm gonna put
Yeah,
the
it's-
calendar review.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think the capital thing should be probably a later one.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
March is, we tend to be the first one. and-
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
time to go back
Don't
and
wanna
look
rush
at
it.
it.
Okay.
Confidentiality policy will come back.
Anything else for, okay, here's what I have. The minutes format, we do want the strategic plan update. We want, more board training with the director,
Mhm.
bylaws, and calendar review. Anything else?
And capital plan, maybe.
Well,
No,
they just took that off
probably April.
for April, do that
Gives
in
us a chance to
April.
talk about it in March, maybe there'll be some changes to it,
Okay.
take it
Okay.
back to the board in April.
And then
Okay.
I
Mention
have,
confidentiality policy, do we need to add that on?
yeah.
Confidentiality
That's,
policy. We'll come back.
Or we got-
oh, that'll be on our agenda.
After you talk
You
about
want that
Canada.
in?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that's under items for next agenda.
Mhm.
And then I have one more item, and it might go under the calendar review, but at one point you were giving us patron usage reports so we could see the hours that were busiest in the library.
The door count.
Are you still keeping that information?
Yeah. Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah, good. And we might have to add that again on